Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really interesting shift happening in commercial real estate.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's all about CRE modularity for Agile leasing. Think of it like this. Instead of being locked into, a totally rigid office space,
Uh-huh.
what if you could adapt your property almost as easily as you customize the apps on your phone?
Okay, interesting analogy. It's definitely a fundamental change in how we think about commercial space, isn't it?
Hmm.
Moving away from those really long-term fixed agreements.
Exactly. Towards something much more fluid.
And you've gathered some great sources for us, Q2 software, insights from LinkedIn, Lenovo's take, MRI software,
Mhm.
all pointing towards this evolution, yeah.
That's right. Because let's be honest, those traditional long-term leases, they might feel a little bit, well, stuck in the past, especially when the business world changes so
I
fast.
definitely. Things move much quicker now.
So the core question we're exploring today for everyone tuning in is this. How can we take this core idea of modularity, something super common in like the tech world, building software with interchangeable parts,
Right, modular design.
and apply it to commercial real estate to make it much more flexible and really responsive to what your business needs right now and down the line.
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And we're looking at various perspectives, Q2 software, LinkedIn, Lenovo.
Yep. Each providing a unique angle on this whole transformation.
Okay, so let's maybe unpack what we actually mean by modularity in CRE first.
Good idea.
Essentially, it's about creating adaptable spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Think of environments that can be easily reconfigured.
Reconfigured how?
Well, maybe you need to add a temporary project room,
Oh,
or maybe subdivide if your team structure shifts, or even expand if the business suddenly takes off.
okay.
It's all about aligning that physical space with your, evolving business needs.
And this ties directly into something called agile methodologies, right? For you listening, that's basically a way of working that emphasizes breaking down big tasks into smaller, flexible chunks and adapting quickly based on feedback.
Yes, and that mindset translates really well to how we think about physical space, too.
It seems like it would.
Precisely. And what's really compelling here is the potential for, well, significant cost efficiency.
Right, the money side.
Yeah, I mean, think about how much businesses typically invest in renovations when their needs change. This modular approach, as Q2 software, LinkedIn Insights, and Lenovo all suggest, can dramatically reduce those expenses.
Less renovation hassle and cost.
And it also allows businesses to react much faster to market shifts.
Okay, give us a tangible picture. What does this modularity actually look like if I walk into an office?
Yeah, good question. A great example, Americo Monguio mentioned this on LinkedIn, is modular office design. So imagine office layouts built with easily movable partitions.
Like fancy room dividers?
Sort of, yeah,
Mm.
but more integrated. And furniture that can be quickly reconfigured. So this allows you to create more meeting rooms if collaboration suddenly spikes or expand individual workspaces as your team grows,
Uh-huh.
all without needing to bring in construction crews for, major structural changes.
That makes a huge difference. Now, Lenovo made an interesting point about how modularity in business lets teams work on different parts of a system at the same time. How does that translate to the physical space?
That's a fascinating parallel, isn't it? With modular CRE, you can essentially work on different modules of your space independently.
Okay, like zones.
Exactly. Say you need to create a new quiet zone. You can focus on reconfiguring that specific area without causing massive disruption to the rest of the office.
Right, not shutting down the whole floor.
Exactly. It minimizes downtime and helps maintain overall productivity. Thinking like Lenovo, who see modularity boosting parallel work in tech,
Mhm.
imagine physically dividing a large project team into independently configurable zones within your office.
So the space mirrors the workflow.
Potentially, yeah. This isn't just about adding walls, it's about mirroring your project workflows in your physical space. Maybe even accelerating timelines in ways traditional fixed layouts just can't.
And it sounds like this built-in flexibility could really enhance how teams operate too, encouraging that collaboration and even self-organization that was mentioned.
Absolutely. When the physical environment can easily adapt to how people actually work, it empowers them.
Yeah, I can see that.
And as some of our sources hinted, particularly for startups and smaller
Oh,
businesses
yeah. For them, it must be crucial.
that need to scale quickly or, pivot their focus, this agility isn't just a perk. It's often critical for their survival, really.
Yeah.
They need to expand or contract without being locked into rigid long-term commitments.
Okay, so the why makes a lot of sense. Now, if you're listening and thinking, okay, this modular CRE thing sounds interesting,
Yeah.
what are some concrete steps? Where do you even start?
Right, the practical side. our sources offer some excellent starting points for you. First, explore flexible lease structures. Well, LinkedIn Advice and some other material pointed to options like shorter-term leases, maybe considering co-working spaces initially,
Mm.
and even thinking about subleasing parts of your space, or maybe sale-leaseback arrangements. These give you much greater agility in your overall leasing strategy.
Less long-term commitment upfront gives you more options later. Makes perfect sense. What else?
Second, really look into modular designs themselves. As LinkedIn Advice, Lenovo, and Americo Mangio all highlighted, incorporating things like movable partitions and reconfigurable furniture is crucial.
The building blocks you mentioned?
Exactly. It allows you to adapt your physical layout without needing to call in contractors for every minor tweak. Think of it as having building blocks for your office space.
I like that analogy. It really helps visualize it. And what about the tech side? It's 2024. There has to be tech involved.
Absolutely. Leveraging CRE tech is the third vital piece for you to consider. Q2 software and MRI software both emphasized how technology can streamline the whole lease management process,
Make it less painful.
hopefully, and really optimize how you use your space. This includes tools for tracking occupancy rates, basically, how much of your space is actually being used.
So you know what's working and what's not.
Right. Understanding how your space is functioning. And even automating things like lease renewals to save time and reduce errors. MRI software, they're big in lease management. Really point out how tech makes flexible leasing truly efficient.
Okay, let's make this really concrete. Real-world examples that people listening can picture. How does this look in action?
Think back to that rapidly growing startup we talked about.
Okay.
They might initially opt for a smaller, flexible co-working space. Then, as they expand, they can easily add more desks or even entire modular office units within that space.
Without moving.
Potentially, yeah, or with much less disruption. Without the huge cost and headache of relocating and signing a completely new, massive long-term lease, that built-in agility is a huge advantage.
We've definitely seen the popularity of companies like WeWork surge, haven't we? Really capitalizing on this demand for flexible, modular spaces, especially among startups and smaller teams.
Absolutely, they tapped into that need perfectly. And this isn't just limited to traditional offices.
Oh, where else?
Well, CRE warehouse development touched on modular warehouse designs.
Interesting. Warehouses, too.
Yeah, imagine warehouses that can be easily reconfigured, different racking systems, different flow paths to accommodate different tenants or evolving business needs like shifting from bulk storage to, say, e-commerce fulfillment.
Wow, okay. That makes the property much more versatile, doesn't it? More attractive to different users.
Exactly. Wider appeal.
So we've covered the basics, the foundations. What about more advanced strategies if businesses like yours are really looking to lean into this modular approach?
This is where it gets even more interesting for you, I think. Beyond just movable walls, think about integrating technology more deeply. Well, as some sources suggested, including sensors to track occupancy. Not just if a space is used, but how it's used.
Getting really granular data.
Yes. That data can be gold for optimizing how your space is utilized, maybe even managing energy consumption more efficiently based on actual use patterns. That could lead to further cost savings for your business.
So it moves beyond just flexibility into active, data-driven optimization. That's smart. And Science Direct highlighted some key principles for future-proofing business environments, didn't they?
They did. They identified modularity, reconfigurability, and autonomy as fundamental.
Autonomy. What does that mean in this context?
Kind of like spaces that can almost manage themselves to some extent, or systems within the space like HVAC, adjusting based on occupancy data from those sensors. Applying these principles to CRE means creating spaces that aren't just flexible for today, but are designed with the inherent ability to adapt to changes we can't even fully predict yet. New tech, shifts in how we work.
So this isn't just about fixing current problems. It's really about building resilience, future-proofing your real estate strategy so you're ready for whatever comes next.
Precisely. How does modularity contribute to that long-term vision for you? Well, as our sources indicated, by creating adaptable properties, businesses can ensure their real estate remains valuable and relevant as market conditions inevitably evolve.
Keeps the asset useful longer.
Right. And think about the rapid pace of technological change.
Right.
Modular spaces can be more easily updated, rewired, reconfigured to accommodate new equipment, new workflows, new ways of interacting.
It sounds like this shift towards modular CRE, while it might involve some new ways of thinking, maybe some initial hurdles,
So there's always a learning curve.
ultimately presents a lot of potential upside for businesses looking to stay competitive.
That's a key takeaway for you listening.
Mm.
While adopting a modular approach might require a shift in how you think about and manage your property, the benefits are pretty compelling. Enhanced flexibility to respond to changing needs, increased productivity through truly adaptable workspaces, and, maybe importantly, a greater appeal to employees who value dynamic, non-static work environments.
That employee appeal is a big one these days.
It really is. It can provide a significant competitive edge. AgiBuild's perspective on applying agile frameworks to building adaptations reinforces this too. It's about turning those initial adjustments into long-term advantages.
Okay, so to quickly summarize then, what are the core advantages we've uncovered today about applying modularity to commercial real estate for listeners like you?
At its heart, it's about increasing your business's agility, its responsiveness to your evolving needs. And this adaptability leads directly to the potential for significant cost reduction, less spent on big disruptive renovations.
Makes sense. And the actionable strategies we talked about, the things you can start thinking about.
Remember those three pillars. Exploring flexible lease structures to give you more freedom, implementing modular designs within your spaces for easy reconfiguration, and the smart use of technology to manage and optimize it all.
Flexible leases, modular designs, leveraging tech. Got it.
Those are the key areas.
So for you listening, here's maybe a final thought to chew on. How could you begin to incorporate modular thinking into your current property strategy, even in small ways?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a massive overhaul overnight.
Right. Could you explore a more flexible lease option next time renewal comes up? Could you maybe introduce some reconfigurable furniture in one key area of your office?
Small steps.
These small steps could be the beginning of building much greater flexibility into your business's future.
It really comes down to asking yourself that fundamental question. How can your physical workspace become less of a fixed cost, a fixed entity, and more of a dynamic tool that actively supports your business goals and your growth?
Excellent food for thought. Thanks for exploring this deep dive into CRE modularity with us today.
My pleasure. Always interesting stuff.
Until our next discussion.